You know how this is. You have students do a great job teaching them vocabulary, and at the end of the lesson, they know it. And the thing is, at the beginning of the next lesson, they don't know it. And I do a lot of different things. I told them, listen, you have to make flashcards. That's what I did. It worked for me learning German. It'll work for you learning English. You want to run a marathon? You got to put in the miles. You want to speak English? You have to practice the words. But maybe your students are different, but mine will never do any work I don't give them. That's been a realization of mine. And that means I had to start making vocabulary exercises. I did this, and it was a ton of work until I met a group of programmers, students of mine, and they told me that one of the things that makes a programmer different from other people is that programmers try to automate repetitive tasks. Since I was stuck every evening making these vocabulary worksheets, I realized I was in the middle of a repetitive task that could be automated. I went in to the lesson and I said, listen, I know you all have master's degrees and went to university for programming, but how hard can it really be, right? You're always hearing about sixth graders making apps. And they laughed at me. And they also said, Toby, look at the Django Grill tutorials website. It's pretty good. If you can understand that, you can make anything. So I went home. I opened this tutorial up. I watched a lot more tutorials on YouTube. I Googled quite a bit. Long story short, I became a pretty third-rate programmer, but I made what I think is a first-rate vocab worksheet generator. It's what you're looking at now. I'm really proud of it. It allows you to add vocabulary to individual groups so that you can say, in my Tuesday morning 8 o'clock class, I taught these words, and that group has to review this vocabulary, which is separate from another group. And it allows you to add any vocabulary, not just, well, I got this Thanksgiving worksheet from the internet, and even though everyone in my group knows the word pumpkin, that's going to be on there. It means that you can teach the word armchair directly next to the word fire hydrant, if both of those words happen to be used in a classroom conversation. And it means, most importantly, that you've got a system that will keep the vocabulary coming back in your classroom in a structured way, in a predictable way, and in a way that's got as much variation as I could give it, and that your students, they won't learn every word. Some of the words, maybe the student on their left needs, and it's their word. Some of the words they're going to forget, but they're going to come across this word 6 times in your lessons, and either it's going to sink in their heads or it's not. But you can honestly say you've done everything you could.